Good day guys, and I'm going to report the literary theories of Greek and Roman literature. So let's get started. The ancient Roman literature was written in the Latin language, and it maintains an enduring legacy of ancient Rome and its culture and its people. The earliest Roman literary works were historical epics retelling Rome's early military history, while the later works were poetry, comedies, histories, and tragedies. So Latin was a language used to write the early Roman literature, and this preserves a lasting heritage of the people and the culture and the history of the ancient Rome. And then Roman literature began with such historical epics that documented Rome's early military history, while following the works included such as poetry, comedies, tragedies, and also chronicles. Next, Greek literature, body of writings in the Greek language with a continuous history extending from the millennium before Christ to the present day. From the beginning, its writers were Greeks living not only in Greece proper but also in Asia Minor, the Aegean Islands, and Magna Graecia, or such as Sicily and southern Italy. Greek literature covers now to first millennium before Christ to now, and its writers lived in Greece such as Asia Minor and the Aegean Islands and Magna Graecia. After Alexander the Great's conquest, Greek became the Eastern Mediterranean and Byzantine Empire's common language. Then Greek literature was created throughout a larger region and by non-Greeks. Even before the Turkish invasion in 1453, the territory began to decline, and currently it's mostly Greece and Cyprus. Next. Ancient Greek literature is mostly lost, yet it remains important not only because much of it is of supreme quality, but also because until the mid-19th century, most of the Western world's literature was produced by writers familiar with the Greek tradition, either directly or through Latin, who were aware that the forms they used were mostly Greek inventions and who assumed their readers were familiar with classical literature. Few ancient Greek texts exist, but it still remains important because not much of it is special value, but also because until the mid-19th century, the Western world literature was generated by the writers that was recognizable with the Greek tradition, either directly or through Latin, and who were aware that the aspects they used were mostly Greek discovery and who assumed their viewers were knowledgeable with classical literature. Next, which was the study of Greek and Roman literature. The study of classical antiquity is known as classics or classical studies. In the West, this term has historically been used to describe the study of classical Greek and Latin literature as well as the associated language. Classics is the name given to the area of the study that focuses on the study of ancient Greece and Rome. In the history of the Western world, this term has been utilized to refer to the study of classical Greek and Latin literature, in addition to the languages were associated with it. Next, why is Greek and Roman literature important? Nearly every literary form that exists now was developed by the Greeks and Romans, and their influence may be seen, and then later writers and painters owe a great debt to the ancient Greek and Roman authors and artists, since the classics were such an important part of education for so many years. The Greeks and Romans are mostly credited with the invention of basically all forms of literature that are still practiced today, and their influence may still be felt, and due to the fact that the classics were considered to be such an important part of education for a significant amounts of time. Then later, authors and artists are greatly grateful to the works that the ancient Greeks and Romans. Next. So neither the Roman Empire nor the Roman Republic created tragedies. So mainly standing. Then not enough Roman literature, Greeks owe them, then specifically the Athens. Most educated Romans knew their literary inferiority, and thus they could easily replicate Greek classical themes and translate Greek works into Latin. Then many Romans didn't need to learn Greek because they spoke Latin. Then Roman elites educated in Athens. Romans kept a connection to Greek Hellenism but produced their own literature. So the Roman Empire and the Roman Republic produced poetries, comedies, plays, chronicles, and intellectual tracts, but no tragedies. It's mostly still standing. Then Roman literature isn't enough, and then they owe the Greeks, specifically Athens. Most educated Romans knew of their literature inferiority, therefore, Roman authors could simply reproduce Greek classical subjects and then even translating numerous Greek works into Latin. Then next is, so are there any questions? So I need you to answer this. So what have you learned about the topic? Who owed a great debt to the ancient Greek and Roman authors and artists? And what is a study that is known as classics or classical studies? So I need you to answer a few of these. So that's all for my part, and thanks for listening.